really what moves her up higher. I love how balanced she is, especially in that center portion of her body, and she puts it together in such an elegant, athletic package when she gets around the ring. These next two heifers are a lot alike, and you could have flip-flopped them today, but the one that I'm going to go with is just, she ties it a little higher up there in her shoulder and a little more balanced. That next heifer behind her wants to run a little downhill. This is a very, very stout-featured female. She just lacks that center portion depth of rib as these heifers ahead of her, but I think you get her bred at the right time and get a little more belly on down as a heavy bred. That thing's got a lot of longevity ahead of her. Like I said, this one's another long-spined, complete female that's super, super cool, and that front 1/3 just gives up that center portion of her body and just doesn't have the overall top and power and performance as the one ahead of her. Young lady here, the big broody cow at the end of the class, I tell you what, I love running these kind of cows. I grew up on a commercial cow-calf operation, and these are the kind of cows that make you money. So I don't want you to go home with your head down because you have a very good individual that's very important to the beef industry. Just she doesn't have that show ring appeal today to move up any higher. But congratulations.
Not a viper, I would say, out here in this class that just says pick me and choose me, but I think just a really good brood cow that needs to go ahead and start. She's moderate, she's big-footed, she's the soundest structured one out here. Not perfect from that regard, but probably has an advantage over everything else. She's got the most body and yet still is the most feminine compared to some of the cattle we've seen. Probably just not maybe the wow factor of some of these other ones, but just a really, really good brood cow. The heifer that stands directly behind her is one that's got maybe just a little bit more hair to her, and I think because of that, maybe even just impresses you immediately in terms of her extra power and her extra stoutness. As you really study the cattle, I think she's quite a bit plainer about her head and her neck, and then you study her in the center portion of her body. She's not nearly as soft and opened up in terms of her forerib. She's not as comfortable when you set the cattle into motion in the way she goes off of either end. On the standstill, I think you can like the front 2/3 of this heifer that stands in third. She's long spined, she's fresh, she's attractive through that front end. It's just that back third of her skeleton that we've got to change. She doesn't hook up quite right from her spine into her hip and her tail head, and then after that you set her down to the ground. She's just got too much set to that hind leg without actually utilizing it like she needs to, so she becomes quite a bit more awkward and uncoordinated in the way she goes off of her rear tube. Nice place to start in this class, guys. Give those kids a hand.
Szanowni Państwo,